Hi there, I'm Construction Gamer, and this is another UK mod showcase for Transport Fever 2. This is going to be episode number 21 in the series, and we've got loads to look at in this episode, so I'm going to dive straight in with these new, or updated rather, MAN F2000 trucks by Jones. These have had an update with, I think since the actual update of Transport Fever 2, it's allowed cargo variation on trailers, so that's been updated. It's also got branded trailers as well, like you can see here, DHL trailer on the back with the cab in the same colour as well. There are some other ones, there's some container variations as well to look at. That stone, that's that. I do have some somewhere. I usually have this nicely organised. Yeah, I've got these ones, container ones, so you can just see he's got a container on there. He's only got, well, he only had half a load, so he only had one container, but if he had a full load of 42, he would have had two containers on there. So we finally got that trailer variation back in the game, which I think a lot of people wanted, and it is a good addition to the game. Let's head into a depot somewhere. There should be one around. Let's take a look. Right down the bottom, MAN S2000 company branded trailers. So you've got the container one there, and basically what will happen is, especially I think with the crude oil and the fuel particularly, you will get fuel containers on the back of those, but the other ones, these mostly goods trailers because they are just curtain siders. And then we've got some branded fuel tanks as well, so we've got BP, Shell, total fuel tankers, capacity of 42, top speed of 56, 598 brake horsepower. Just really good addition to the game. We do also have some other new trucks as well, the Volvo MN16 with Chrome branded trailers again. So we've got a couple which are similar, so we've got DHL and things like that. Other ones, Chrome, and yeah, just different variation. This has only got a capacity of 25, 832 horsepower, 62 miles per hour top speed, but most of these trailers actually can take pretty much everything except for fuel and oil. But they can take all the other type of goods as well. It can even take ore and stone, which, you know, it could do potentially because they are curtain siders. They can pretty much take whatever they please inside them. There's no real restrictions on those. So let's take a look at this one here. Another good looking truck, but this one actually is slightly different. It has some custom sounds on it as well. Let's see if I can find one that's getting up to speed. There's one here. Let's jump on that quickly. If we be quiet for a minute. Now, to me, that sounds like it's got like a V8 open pipe sound, which I kind of like the sound of because I'm a bit of a child. But it also has. Are you going to do it? No, he's not going to. It's also got gear change sounds, which I think is quite unique, possibly. So yeah, it's just another good truck to add to the collection. It does fit within the UK theme because there are some UK branded trucks, or trucks that you'll see in the UK at least anyway, on there. So another good selection of road vehicles for you to put to work. And there's also, speaking of road vehicles, there's also a new depot. So if we head down to my quarry all the way down here, like some what I have already. So we have, as well as the stone cargo platforms that we've had, I showed you those in the last episode, we've also got some new ones which like coal hoppers. So if you've got a coal set up, now I don't know if, I guess I could just put that on terminal 1 and it would work, but I don't think it would be accurate having that. But if you've got like a coal setup, then this would look a lot better than the standard cargo platforms. But has this got some? It's got seven stone in the coal bunkers, but at least we'll get to see what happens when a truck actually comes underneath. So yeah, that just clears that. Obviously, there's no animation of the coal tipping out, I don't think, but they just look a lot better for that particular setup. But this also comes with some assets as well, which are somewhere. Mad Hatter's got his own group, so we've got these basically in the assets under Mad Hatter's own setting. I didn't say, did I? They're by Mad Hatter. We have these coal hoppers, so these would be for above the railway. You can actually change the size of them, so let's just exaggerate everything there. You can make it really big like that, which looks a bit odd, or you can change that. So that changes kind of the width, the length rather, and then that changes the width of it. So you'd want it so it just fits in between the two sleepers there, and then you can change the height as well just to match, and you can go up and down as well a little bit, but there's not a huge amount of room. You've just got those legs. Let's reduce that down a bit, and then just fine-tune that so those concrete things are just in the ground there. You can change the building type, which I'll show you in a minute, but you can also change the colour. So I'll have that as yellow. You probably wouldn't want to, but why not? And then we've got a building again, which has does it have colour variation? No, it doesn't. But let's just find a decent place for this. So if I spin that round to about there, and then just sink that into the ground, and then on this you've got a feeder, which again you can change the size of this feeder, make it a bit wider or a bit longer, something like that. Now if I just, what does that do? And that changes the height of it, well, the actual height of the actual object itself, rather than adjusting the height. Get that in there, and then on the, you wouldn't want it yellow either, but it does come in other colours. So you've got steel and black, but on the end of that you will want a feeder end, which basically you just want to line up like so, and just plonk that on there. And then if you've got a cargo station like this, at least you can make it look like it's got a coal feeder for the rail cars. It just looks better than just having the standard platforms. You can play around with that to your heart content, make that look as good as you want. I've got another setup over here already with just two different sizes, so yeah, like that. I'm not entirely sure how it would look. There probably is a suggestion on the Steam Workshop, but yeah, just got the coal setup there going on anyway. Next one is another update, which is locomotive. I want them all. Give me all of the locomotives. So the Great Central Railway locomotives have had an update. These are by Steve M4. There's a whole group of these, and there's 6 locomotives in total. I've only got 4 of them here, but you've got the GCR Class 8 460, GCR Class 8B 442, LNER B5, LNER C13, BR5 and a BR13, all in the same pack, and they've all been updated, refreshed by Steve M4. So we've got a good selection of steam locomotives there. Let's maybe slow down the game, and maybe let's just pause the game and take a closer look at some of these. I'm not entirely sure which ones are which. Well, obviously that's Great Central, and then we've got LNER, which are in like the freight black. I'm using smoke reduction as well, so it might look slightly different on your game if you are not using the smoke reduction mod. Just another good looking steam locomotive by Steve M4 there. Let's head back into the depot. I want a depot, please. Can I have a depot? No, I can't, because that's a station, that's why. Let's head up here. That's a little bit better, isn't it? So if we head into the steam, yeah, you got the GCR 442 Class 8, got those ones there. Now these I don't think these have any subgroups, but I couldn't find, so I've got those 4. There's 6 listed on the actual Steam Workshop itself, so maybe I'm just being a bit dim, which is not unusual, but yeah, you've got those there anyway. Let's just take a quick look at the stats rather than just rushing straight over them. So top speed is 75, 1,400 horsepower, so it's a pretty powerful locomotive. Again, that's pretty similar. That's a slightly less top speed, 60 miles per hour top speed, 88 kilonewtons of tractive effort, and again same 75, and that's a 60. I didn't get a date for these, but I think they do become available from different dates from the beginning of the GCR sort of era, the Great Central Railway era. Now the next one we're going to move on to something a little bit different as well, something diesel power. The Class 20 I think is something, although saying that I've got stock all over the place. You're supposed to be on, it doesn't really matter, but I usually try and organise things, so you should be on that one, like that. And then that allows us to take a look at the Class 20s by CW315. really good diesel locomotive with some good sounds again. You've got a good, definitely got a turbo whistle in there. It's a pretty good engine noise, I think. You get the two different variations. Well, there's a whole different variation of liveries, but you get the forward-facing and reversing, because more often than not, the Class 20s do work in multiple. I seem to find whenever I see any 20s, they're always appear to be multiple, so you can have them facing like this, or whichever way you want. Another good-looking diesel locomotive. Let's head over to the depot, take a look at these. So obviously diesel. On this it says D8000 BR green for some reason. Having said that, okay, I've found something new. I hadn't. So I'm on multiple units, and they do come in pre-assembled multiple types. So you can just dump a couple of those in, or one of those, rather than doing it yourself. But if you want to do it yourself, you head over to locomotives and then into diesel. Again, it is a D8000, and you got a whole different variation. So you got rail freight, cement works, direct rail services, BR green, Waterman rail, and metal sector. And then you can choose which one. So you put one on the front and then one on the back, or maybe the other way. Yeah, it is that way round, and then that like that. So you get them matching on their own. 1014 horsepower, top speed of 75 miles per hour. But if you put them together, you got 2000 horsepower, which isn't too bad, and they don't seem overly expensive either. So they're a good starting diesel freight locomotive, I think. Now the next one you've probably already seen when I was messing around was the 1992 stock, the London Underground 1992 stock, which is there. I should mention, did I mention? I probably didn't, that the Class 20s become available from 1995, and I'm assuming that as each of the liveries would be available, then they become available in the depot. Now we're looking at the LU London Underground 1992 stock, which, as the name suggests, is available from 1992. This is by, who is this by? This is by Stanek, and these are just fab looking London Underground units. Great to see some London Underground stock being available for the game. I don't think there is any LU stock available yet, so this is great to see this available on the game. I'm not sure, I'm just going to pause the game a minute and then go into camera mode. I'm not sure if it's definitely got the third rail shoe by looks of it on the bogie, but I can't see any fourth rail. I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, London Underground rails have a fourth rail, but it's not really hugely important. Obviously this is being powered by the overhead lines somehow magically, but obviously there is a third rail mod which you can use in order to make this a little bit more realistic. But having said that, it mostly be in tunnels anyway for the majority of it, so it's really up to you if you want to go to the bother of using third rail or what. But yeah, it's just good to finally have London Underground stock, and really good looking, well detailed London Underground stock as well. So we'll head into the depot to take a look. It is a multiple unit, it's an electrical multiple unit, and it is there, and it is 63 miles per hour top speed, which is to be expected. 2175 horsepower, capacity of 790, which to be honest sounds a lot in terms of the game. Now if you look at like a high-speed locomotive, or a high-speed train rather, you've got capacity 160. I would suggest that's a little bit too much, and it reflects in the price as well. This it's actually twice its cost per year to maintain, £8 million. But if you are recreating London and you've got all the boroughs and it really is a big booming city, then maybe 790 is required within your city. But I don't like to be negative, but I just think that's a little bit too much. But it doesn't really detract from the fact that there's a really good looking model. So yeah, that is that one. Now what are we going to look at? I'm going to look at the last train in this little look at thing. Where is it? There it is. So we've got reskin for the Class 185s. These are the Northern reskins. We've got the Northern by Arriva, Northern unbranded, and then just Northern trains. So we're not sure that'll be the Northern by Arriva, obviously, because it says. And then I think there is just like a Northern, still got like the the northern branding, and then there is like a transitional, I guess you'd call it. So we're moving in between the kind of nationalisation, I guess you'd call it, of the northern franchises. So you got the Northern by Arriva, which started in 2016, Northern Unbranded 2016, and then you got the Northern Trains, which it just be this one here with no by Arriva underneath it, and this is when it was in effect nationalised or taken to operator of last resort, I think. I'm not sure entirely, but he's waiting for a signal for something. Speaking of signals, nice segue there. We do have some brand new signalling available for Transport Fever 2, which is the ETCS, the European Train Control System. This is by DMA Raptor Arc and DMA Danny, and I can't see the signals. Where are you? I did. Pretty sure I'd put a load in. I have put well, not a load, but as you will see, these aren't signals as you'd recognise them within the game. They are completely devoid of actual physical signals. They've just got signs, but these do. This particular one here does work as a signal. You can see you can turn it to one way or not. It does come with an asset as well, which is this GSM radio tower, and it also comes with some balises, or balise, which are these little markers here. I'll just quickly show you those in this. So we go to signalling, got a load of different signs. I don't entirely know what they mean, but I've just used this one here, this ETS block signal. So it acts just like a standard block that you would put on your network. So you just chuck that on there. You can make it one way, which is probably better, something like that. Get rid of that, and then that will just act as a standard signal. So trains will wait and pass as they are allowed, and it just works basically. I'm not sure. Basically, I think all these signs seem to kind of work the same, but obviously they mean different things on the European Train Control System network. And you also have, under waypoints, you've got these balise track. So basically these send a signal to the train to tell it what to do or where it is. It gives it information as it's passing different things. Now, you'd use these on the ETCS system, but also you could, if you were for example, building the West Coast Main Line, you might also want to put these, if you're doing a detailed build, put these at the start of curves on the West Coast Main Line, because the TAS system, the Tilt Activation Speed Supervision system, also uses a series of balise to send a signal to the train, and it tells the Pendolino by how much to tilt as it's going around the corner. You might think that the Pendolinos kind of know by how much to tilt, or they use geometry or something, but in fact it is a system similar to this which sends a signal to the Pendolino and tells it, right, you want to tilt by this much. So even if you're not using the European train control system, it might just be a fun little detail, good little detail to add to your West Coast Main Line build. I think there is the Cambrian line down in Wales, Mid Wales, is it? South Wales does have this control system, and I think the southern section of the East Coast Main Line is about to be, if it's not already, being upgraded to the European control system. Obviously High Speed 1 and High Speed 2 will both use something like this, so it just helps add a little bit of realism to your build. So yeah, just a really good selection of different mods which are available for the game now. So there we are. I hope I've explained that as well as I could, but if you want to check out any of these mods, there's always a link to the UK Mod Showcase asset collection, which is available on Steam, so there's a link to that in the description below if you fancy using any of these mods. So I'm going to leave you with this London Underground train and say until next time, bye bye.